Everybody says her child is 1 in a million, but Brooklyn, with all of her issues, falls into about 1 in 2.5 million. The day that she was born was a big surprise because 3 days before they told us that they had some concerns about her heart, her bone density, and her kidneys. So that's what we were prepared to deal with. And 3 days later, she woke me up like 4 o'clock in the morning. We made the drive over and they admitted her and they said, well, we're just going to monitor you. And then all of a sudden, next thing we know, they come in and they're like, okay, it's time. And we're like, well, I need to go make some. No, she goes, you don't have time to do anything. It's time to have this baby. And they took her right out. I mean, I didn't have a chance to give her a kiss, hug, or anything. She was gone. And they went down and did an emergency C-section. So then we immediately left there, and this part's all blank to me, but we made it up to the NICU, and I turned the corner. So, this part's always hard to do. So I turned the corner and I couldn't even see my daughter. All I could see were doctors and nurses hovering over her, probably about 13 or 14 of them. And the first thing that came to my mind is Amanda can't see her like this. So they got mad, but I begged them to stop what they were doing with Amanda until they got her all stable and everything else. And then they had to do a central line through her umbilical cord, which meant then that she wouldn't be able to be moved, wouldn't be able to be held or anything else. I said, well, before you do that, get Amanda up here and let her hold her before this happens. So she was able to hold her then, and then all the interesting things started to happen.
When Brooklyn was born, her metopic suture, which is the one right in the front of your face, it was already fused. So as she started to grow, her head grew, and it looked like a guitar pick if you look down on it. So it was very small in the front. And so it got worse and worse as she grew, so her brain started running out of room to grow. And she started exhibiting a lot of delays and things like that. And so they did her cranial vault surgery. They actually opened her up from ear to ear right across the top. And they took out the frontal bone and her orbital bones, and they made them larger, spaced them out and put some little spacers in there. She just started progressing leaps and bounds after she had that. Yeah, good job. You could see on the CT how her brain had actually been molded to the inside of her skull, and it was in her brain itself was indented from pushing up against the skull. So now that it's got more room, it's actually able to expand and grow and get all the blood supply that it needs. Social workers started talking to us about all the different things that they could help us with, and because we lived over an hour away, they mentioned that the Ronald McDonald House was an option, but at the time you guys were full, and so she was like, there's a lot of people, there's a wait list, and everything else. And so we were like, well, we're probably not going to get into that as it was, and we only had like 2 days left where we could stay in the hospital. And so if we hadn't have gotten on the wait list at that point, I don't think we would have gotten a room, which would have been really stressful because we'd have had to drive back and forth or get a hotel room up here. And so we got the call and they said that a room opened up over here, and that began our 3-week stay. Yeah. So being away from home was extremely stressful for me. I didn't have my stuff. I didn't have my recliner that I'd spent the last 3 months sleeping on. I didn't have the peace and quiet of being able to wake up or hear the kids running around and just the normal sounds and things like that. It was constant beeping and buzzing and alarms and all of that stuff, which just kind of puts you on edge, and wasn't what we were expecting. I was expecting a normal childbirth, normal being able to come home in a few days and be able to, hold my baby and snuggle her at home with the kids, and it wasn't any of that. The Ronald McDonald House made things easy in a lot of ways. First, we didn't have to drive back and forth. That would have been very inconvenient and very expensive. We didn't have to spend a bunch of money on a hotel room. We didn't have to go to a laundromat to wash our clothes. Everything was here and provided for us. Being able to bring the kids up to see their sister, and since it was only one at a time that could go in the NICU, we were able to afterwards come back over here and hang out as a family. And be able to play video games with them upstairs, and they could play board games and read books and play cards and things like that, and just be able to really have the quality family time that we normally would have at home that we were missing.
Yeah, and just made it a lot more convenient for us to be able to be an earshot away if something happens in the middle of the night or an issue came up, then we weren't far away at all. I mean, Amanda stayed most every single night, she stayed every night in the hospital, but there was once or twice where she called me and said something's wrong, and I was just able to get up, put on some shirt, shoes, and head straight over there, and I was there within 10 minutes by her side. To me, the most beneficial things around a McDonald House were the people that were staying here. When you go through something like this, no one knows what it's like, and you can never describe it. Words never do it justice. But when you're around the people here, the other people staying, you have a support team. You lean on each other, you can talk to each other, you can share your stories. Some folks have been here, when we got here, they were here for 2 months already. Some of them came in just behind us, and we made a lot of people that we still stay in contact with now to see how their kids are doing and everything else. And, the one, Becky, her baby was super premature, and now he's beautiful, healthy, and everything went well. So we follow with each other even after the stays. But to me, that was the best thing, is to have people to talk to that are going through what you're going through, why you're going through it.
I thought that the bed was the most beneficial because I spent almost every night in the NICU sleeping in the little chair that they provide just because I didn't want to leave her by herself. So, like once or twice a week I would come over and get a good nap in on the bed. So that was very nice. And the food, just having a home cooked meal away from home was extremely nice as well.
I think it's most important to give to the Ronald McDonald House in so many ways that you don't see you don't see the end result of your donation. Our daughter, I don't know if we would be where we're at emotionally, physically, and everything else had it not been for the Ronald McDonald House. The support of the staff here, the support of the other families here, the little things like, you had the snack cart that went around. When I saw that for the first time, I'm like, well, what's that? They're like, free snacks. So it was just little things like that make such a big difference, because I always believed that the Ronald McDonald House was a bed. All it was a bed. You got someplace to go sleep outside of the hospital. I didn't know anything about the meals that are made, the laundry facilities that are there, everything. So your money goes to so much more than what you probably even realize. And, we appreciate it very much.
And I would just add to that, a lot of people, whenever McDonald's asks you, do you want to round up and things like that, and just whenever you're asked to donate, a lot of people just, don't realize that it's benefiting people here, like local people, their neighbors, their teacher, things like that. And so definitely round up that order at McDonald's and donate $1 or $5 or whatever it is, that you feel led to donate, because it is making a big difference, making a huge difference in the lives of people that you may not even know what they're going through. It could be your neighbor, it could be, your family member that you're helping. And so it really is helping everybody.
Your donations go a very long way. We are all blessed in so many ways that, giving back is the right thing to do. Pay it forward.